Russia-Ukraine war, which is escalating. There has been a massive escalation after Ukraine attacked Russia once again. Ukraine has now fired UK-supplied Storm Shadow missile at targets inside Russia for the first time since the war began. The war-torn country had previously restricted to using long-range missiles within its own borders. Ukraine also used United States-supplied Army tactical missile systems, which struck targets deep inside Russia. The US Embassy in Kyiv has announced a temporary closure following specific intelligence that there could be a large-scale air attack that is expected amid fears of the escalation taking place between Russia and Ukraine. In fact, the embassy has also urged US citizens in Ukraine to prepare for potential air raid alerts and also to take all the necessary precautions possible.
Друге, є новий пакет підтримки від Америки, обсяг $275 мільйонів. В пакеті безпілотники, снаряди для хаймарсів та артилерії. Дуже важливо – міни, щоб зупиняти російські штурми. Це дійсно посилить наших хлопців на фронті. І це вже 70-й оборонний пакет від Сполучених Штатів Америки. Україна цінує двопартійну підтримку Америки і рішення президента Байдена. Дякую. Третє. Говорив сьогодні з прем'єр-міністром Польщі Дональдом Туском, подякував за всю надану підтримку від перших днів вторгнення.
Saw the security alert that went out early this morning, overnight our time. The embassy put that alert out based on a possible threat of a significant attack on Kyiv. Something that we take very seriously and led to the temporary change in posture at the embassy. We expect the embassy to return to normal operations tomorrow. I can't get into obviously the specifics of the threat, but it's something that we always monitor closely. We take the safety and security of our personnel it's very important to us. We take it extremely seriously, and that's what led to the change in posture today, and we expect it to resume normal operations tomorrow.
Now, over the past 48 hours, there has been a dangerous escalation between Russia-Ukraine conflict. It is the United States that has now temporarily shut down its embassy in Kyiv and is asking all the personnel to move closer to bomb shelters. Air alert sirens could be heard even hours after Ukraine fired 6 United States-made Army tactical missiles 100 kilometers inside Russia, targeting an ammunition depot. The US, in a major policy shift, has now authorized the supply of anti-personnel mines to Ukraine, and many see this as a large effort to stall the steady advance of Russian forces in the east.
Air alert sirens were heard through the day on Wednesday in Kyiv and other cities in Ukraine, hours after Ukraine fired 6 US-made Army tactical missile systems into Russia on late Tuesday. Russia saw the firing of the ATACMs as a major escalation and claimed to have shot down 5 missiles and partially damaging the 6th. Amidst reports of a Russian ammunition depot being set ablaze in Baransk, approximately 120 kilometers from the Ukraine border. Russia blamed both US and UK for the escalation.
50 days after the start of a special military operation where the losses in the Ukrainian armed forces were not yet that significant, the hostilities had every chance of ending if it hadn't been for the interference of a British Prime Minister who convinced Zelensky that he should continue fighting, that he would have Western support and weaponry, and he will thus be able to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia.
The US-made Army tactical missiles were launched as Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree of lowering the threshold of Russian response to even a conventional strike, including the use of nuclear weapons. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky blamed Russia for continuing warmongering.
1,000 days, I think it's enough to understand that Putin doesn't want any peace. They didn't present peace strategy. Did you hear it? Did you read about it? No, of course, nuclear weapons strategy. Because he wants just to make chaos in the world. He wants to destroy Ukraine not only, and some other countries of NATO.
The US Embassy in Kyiv was shut down as a precautionary measure amidst reports of a heightened threat of a Russian airstrike.
Mr. President,
I'm better.
you are a hell of a lot better.
In a second major policy shift, US President Joe Biden also authorized the supply of anti-personnel mines to Ukraine.
Much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
The supply of anti-personnel mines is very significant amidst apprehensions that Russian forces may launch a massive strike in the east. In recent weeks, Russian forces have made steady progress in occupying additional Ukrainian territory in the Donetsk region. More than 1,000 days into the conflict, despite US and NATO help, Russia is gaining ground in Ukraine.
There's irresponsible rhetoric coming from Russia, and that is not going to deter our support for Ukraine. I've been doubling down in my clear message that we need to ensure that Ukraine has what is needed for as long as is needed to win this war against Putin.
The Russia-Ukraine war appears to escalate, with both sides seeking to take additional territory before possible negotiations after Donald Trump enters White House post January 20th, 2025. Ukraine claims there are more than 11,000 North Korean troops undergoing training, ready to join battle in the Kursk region. Russia has retaken close to half the territory lost. Ukraine is desperate to hold on to some territory to use as a bargaining chip ahead of negotiations. For both Russia and Ukraine, the war is entering a very critical phase and looks set to escalate. Bureau Report, India Today.